the tribe standing up to another over the way things had been done for generations. She could only hope that Kimo's brave stand did not get him killed. Thankfully, Tadanka went ahead with the burial, and no blood was shed. The following morning, Rachel picked up Tadanka's spear and made her way along the trail to his hut. She found him once again sitting on the log outside. Rachel walked gingerly toward him, the spear in her outstretched hands. Would he use that spear to kill her? After all, Rachel had humiliated him when she snatched it away in the first place. He was a Waorani warrior, and she, a foreign woman, had taken his spear. Tadanka nodded grudgingly, took the spear, and walked into his hut. Rachel stood there for a moment. The crisis had passed. Rachel breathed a sigh of relief after the incident. Innocent life had been saved, and she hoped that her actions would serve as an object lesson to the Waorani, that a human life was a sacred thing to be protected, not mindlessly and brutally destroyed. Rachel herself knew from first-hand experience the devastating effects of the Waorani's brutal killing sprees. Now, with God's help, she was determined to stop the killing and show the members of the tribe that there was a better way to live. It was a treacherous task that she had embarked upon, a task that she could never have anticipated as a small girl growing up on the outskirts of Philadelphia. Chapter 2. A New Home for the Family. In November 1918, Rachel Saint sat quietly on a box in the curved driveway of her grandparents' mansion. This was more than could be said for her 4 brothers. Her 2 older brothers, Sam and Phil, were playing hide-and-seek among the various trunks and bags stacked in the driveway, while younger brothers, Dan and David, cried because they were too small to join in the game. Rachel felt like crying herself. At 4 years of age, she was aware that she was leaving behind everything that was familiar to her. Born in Wyncote, Pennsylvania, she had spent her life thus far living with her parents and their growing brood in a small cottage on her grandparents' estate. She loved her grandparents' mansion, with its deep Persian rugs and pale velvet furnishings. Most of the time, Rachel was the only grandchild allowed in the house. Her grandmother had banned the boys from the place after they had used the Davenport as a springboard to fly into the air and out through an open window onto a pile of feather cushions they had placed on the front veranda. Rachel's grandfather, Josiah Proctor, had been an inventor who, in the late 19th century, had invented machinery that made woolen mills operate more efficiently. Josiah had founded a company called Proctor & Schwartz, which later became known as Proctor Silex, to make and market the machinery. But Josiah had recently died, and after the funeral, Rachel had overheard her parents discussing the fact that the family of 4 boys and 1 girl was getting too large for the small cottage. If the family moved out into the country, her parents reasoned, everyone would have room to grow and stretch. And that is how Rachel came to be sitting among the trunks and bags in the driveway of the Proctor estate. This was the day the Saint family was moving to Huntingdon Valley, a small country town outside of Abington. Rachel hardly knew what to expect, but her mother had tried to make the move into an adventure. So when Rachel was not thinking about how much she was going to miss her grandmother, she had to admit that living in the countryside sounded interesting. As it turned out, Rachel loved her new home in the country from the moment the family arrived there. The new house was 3 stories high, with a ledge along the roof on which the children were allowed to sleep during the summer months. A 50-foot length of rope, on which Rachel loved to swing, hung from a tree in the backyard. As well, Rachel's father, Lawrence Saint, built a roller coaster that led down.